This is Masfida Mara here for the CascadiaSports.net Husky Report. Day 2 of Husky camp is over. Today was the offensive day, if you will, in terms of the access for the media. So the 3 quarterbacks talked. We got a little bit of that audio and video for you, and then also DeMarcus Shepard, the wide receivers coach, talked about the toughness. That's a really interesting video that you need to see, because he's one of the most, well, you know what, here it is. Just listen to what he has to say.
You know what? A coach once told me a long time ago to coach loudly so that every single player that you coach can hear what you're saying, so you don't have to repeat yourself 15 times because of all the guys that you're coaching. So I've always kind of had a loud voice in my family. There's 5. I got 4 siblings, and you know, if you want to get a word in, you better speak loudly, okay? So it's just sort of something that, you know, because I've always kind of had that voice that kind of travels a little bit. Coach DeBoer has already told me about it a couple times. Hey, man, your voice travels all across the stadium. So again, I just want my guys to be able to hear everything that I'm coaching.
In addition, it seems like we've noticed I have a lot of technical teaching. Can you just talk about that, you know, where the arm movement and all those things? How important is that?
There's no question about it. The position of wide receiver, in my opinion, has been severely undercoached across all levels of football, and that's no disrespect to anybody. It's just at times the techniques that is required to gain an advantage against defensive backs. Sometimes we use calls to try to make that get that advantage versus actually forcing the guys to use technique to be able to get that advantage. So oftentimes I've heard over my career, we'll just get the call and the call will help these guys. But I try to make it so that no matter what the call, we're going to find a way to have success.
And then that room, obviously, I mean, there's some talent there. You have some pieces to work with. How excited are you then? What are some of the things you think you can do without telling us your playbook?
There's no question. There's a lot of untapped right now talent. There's guys that have some ability, but to this point, as I've told them over and over again, you guys haven't put anything on film yet, in my opinion. So the expectations are high. There's a standard in the room, and you'll hear them frequently see the standard is a standard. And we're going to all try our best, from myself to the last guy in the rotation, to uphold the standard that we want within our room. Okay, they define that standard, and if everyone's not living up to the standard, then we all pay the consequences for that. So we can't have one person having a great day and then everybody else just sort of watching him have a great day. Yeah, they're going to celebrate it, but at the end of the day, we want all of them to have it to achieve that standard.
How important is toughness? My last one. How important is toughness on the receiver?
There's no question about it. You know, you typically want the players to play like you played, and you know, hopefully, as I'm making this statement, and any of my former teammates, they hear this. I feel like I played a tough brand of football as a player in college, so of course I'm going to try to instill that in them. And of course, my sometimes the way I talk, because it's so loud, may seem like I'm yelling at them, and I want it like that, to be quite honest about it. You know, I tell them all the time, just make sure you hear the message, okay? Don't hear the tone. So I'm telling them the message, and like you already said, you can hear the technical terms that are coming out as I'm yelling the message, but certainly it also breeds a brand of toughness, because they don't want to be getting yelled at in a negative manner.
What I enjoyed most about the new staff is just like the importance of like the family feel around the building. You know, that was the main thing that Coach DeBoer, when he first got here, just stressed about. That's what's really important in our culture, is making it feel like a family. And then we grow into a player-led team, all that stuff. And that's just for our whole team and that culture, that's important. And offensively, with Coach Grubb, you know, you can just see the confidence that he has in his system, and you know, all this stuff, and he just pushes everybody to be the best they can be every single day. And so for me, like in this system, it's nice just having something new, being able to adapt to it, play to my strengths that I have.
Your leadership. Sorry, just tell me about your leadership. How you continue to evolve, and what are some of those things you're looking to be this season?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in a new system, it's a little it's a little tough for everyone to kind of get like the urgency on plays. They're kind of figure something out. So that's something I've been doing, try to be vocal and push the urgency of guys. And that starts with me though. I got to lead by example first and foremost. So I got to be the one bouncing around and all that stuff. And that's something we stress in the off season, is just trying to, for all the quarterbacks Coach Trev talked about, just being more vocal and all that stuff. So that's something I've been pushing myself to do, is to be more of a vocal guy. And really push each other.
You're not going to say anything negative, but what do you like about this offense?
Yeah, I think it's just, it puts a lot of stress on the defense. That's what I like about it. It gets them into some base calls, because we're constantly moving, shifting, motioning, plays that we're in the same formation, they look completely different. And I think that's just nice, because it creates easy plays for the whole team and easy throws for the quarterback. You can just look out here and spit the ball out, and you just keep banging that, all that stuff, and then eventually you can pop something deep over the middle of them or over the top.
The wide receivers, every position talented, but we're hearing a lot about the wide receivers, as that you guys can really stretch the field. How does that make you feel as a QB?
There's some dudes that can roll in that room. We got some guys that can really take the top off the coverage. They're great route runners. They're going to be good in catching underneath stuff and turning up the field and getting some yards after the catch. And I think you just watch the production of the receivers that they had at Fresno. There's a lot of guys that we have on this team that can really benefit from the similar things that they did there and that we're going to do here.
Just make sure that you stay level-headed. Even if it's a good play or a bad play, that was the last play. You got to make sure that next play is executed as well as it can be. That's only going to keep your mindset straight, and it's going to keep you, on the right track to being successful.
And then just how close are you guys? Because competition is competition, but the quarterbacks, you three, in terms of helping each other, how important is that for you all to be friends and push each other in a competitive way?
Yeah, it's real important. Obviously we're competing, like you said, but at the end of the day, we're all on the same team. We all want this team to win, and we're going to do whatever it takes for us to win. So obviously we all have a good bond. I talk to these guys. They talk to me. If any of us have a question, we don't hesitate to go to each other. I feel like that's what I like about it here. It was the same way when I was at Indiana as well. So I felt like when I got here, I was welcome, and it's been real good.
You learned a lot from your parents, and you could talk all day about it. What are some of the traits that that you hold close to you, that you go to every day, that your parents brought you, some of those values, skill sets, if you will?
Growing up, my dad was always my coach. It's like growing up all the way up until high school, and he always taught me, how to be tough, not just physically but mentally as well. Just like you said, the 1-0 mindset. Playing the next play. That type of stuff. I've grown up, hearing that all the time. So, I feel like that's definitely stuck with me, and it's going to continue to stick with me. And them two, they always been there to push me, and they never let me get, they never told me I was any better than what I really was. They're always going to tell me what I needed to hear, So I feel like that was definitely something positive for me.
It was, just overall a great learning experience. There was a lot that I was, put into a situation where I, really had to grow, really had to learn and grow in a lot of areas. And I think that it really prepared me. And as much as, there's a lot of outside noise, this and that from last year, I'm just decided to just take the good from it and just really, from all that I gained from the coaches, just from the experiences, from the players, just coming in as a freshman right from high school a week later, thrown in the spring ball, it's a little bit different this year in spring ball, just being a little more comfortable. But I feel like that whole situation last year is, learn how to learn a playbook, get into a new system, get adjusted to the speed of college football. I feel like it really prepared me, and it's prepared me, for the season as well.
Obviously, the system last year was a lot different than what you ran in high school. What was it like adjusting to that?
Yeah, it was a big adjustment from not going, under center in 4 years of high school, and then, coming in here and being a lot under center and having to learn that, and also just, the schemes and the playbook was a lot different than what I was used to. But, at the end of the day, that's how it is, and that's how football is. There's a lot of different ways to go score and to go, find completions, and so I just had to learn to get used to that system and get dialed in as best I could. So, and, like I said, being able to learn that whole playbook, I feel like it only, expanded my knowledge, not only of football, but just the game as well, and just be able to learn, a couple different playbooks, and like I said, prepare me to be able to learn that playbook and get it dialed in and get comfortable with it quickly.
How did that last year help you for the preseason to get you to now? You know what I'm saying, the ramp-up period.
Yeah, I feel like,
like I said, just this spring ball compared to last year, I feel like it just slowed down a lot. I feel a lot more comfortable, even in this new system, having to learn a new playbook. I still feel like it's been a little bit easier for me to get the playbook down just because, I spent that whole year last year kind of learning how to adjust and how to get that dialed in and how to get it down. Just the timing with everything, the speed of college football, is obviously a lot faster than high school. So I feel like, yes, last season prepared me in so many ways, not just on the field, but off the field, growing as a leader, trying to take that next step, and just that whole thing. I'm thankful for it. It was difficult, it was challenging. There were a lot of, hard moments, hard days, hard practices, the Apple Cup, is tough, but, it feels a lot of motivation, it feels a fire, and I'm just excited for what's to come.
Without going too much into detail, talk a little bit about your leadership and kind of some of the things that you want to, be part of.
Yeah, I think, as we know, football, it runs through a quarterback, and it's our job to not just, be a leader vocally, but also to lead by example. And I think Coach Mack, our strength coach, and all these coaches have just put us in good positions all winter to be leaders, not just, in practice, but also in the weight room, doing conditioning, just stuff like that, and just really pushing us to step out of our comfort zone a little bit and to just be more vocal, lead by example, and just do all the little things that it takes to be a great quarterback.
All right, there you go. And that kind of wraps up day 2 of the Husky, I would say, offensive spring football practice for the CascadiaSports.net Husky Report. I'm Osvita Marier.